Look, it's Atlas.
Thank you for coming, Lieutenant. I assume you know who I am.
Yes, sir, of course. You are Vice Consul DuPont, the third Consigliere of the Tetragrammaton.
The Tetragrammaton.
Father's voice.
Father's voice. You know, he's supposed to be God.
I'm told that you were very nearly...
Basically like the Antichrist or something.
Knowing almost instantly if someone is feeling...
I have a good record, sir.
Why do you imagine that is, Clement?
I'm not sure, Vice Consul.
Alright, so this dude's reading for himself, you know, reading something. Of course, it's forbidden, you know. Well, technically, this kind of brings me to the educational system, alright? Now, my kids are 7 and 6 and still can't hardly even read. They can only recognize. They don't teach comprehension in school anymore. They teach recognition. And is it just me, or, I mean, is it like they're purposely dumbing down every generation, you know? And I believe like the 70s and 80s, maybe the 80s and 90s, but I'm definitely thinking the 80s for sure, had about the best educational system. I'm just throwing that out there, you know. We knew a lot of stuff, you know, by the 80s, and our advancements were pretty good, and then it got to the point where it's starting to, it just started getting out of control.
I've spread my dreams under your feet. Tread softly, because you tread on my dreams.
It does the truth.
I assume you dream, Preston.
I'll do what I can to see they go easy on you.
We both know they never go easy.
Yeah, no doubt.
Then I'm sorry.
Rape the damn country every time.
You don't even know the meaning. It's just a
Vestigial
vestigial word for a feeling you've never felt.
Just throw this out there. A vestigial, or just a God, like God. It's a word, you know, and that's why it's the Word of God, you know. I mean, people have put so much emphasis on something, we've turned it into something it's not, you know. And it's the nature of the universe. And what's more real than nature being the creator, you know, and God just being a word for that nature. Hence, the Word of God, you know. But that word also being the bane of our existence. I mean, it's just a bane because it's caused so much problems and so much death and everything on this planet over a word, over the Word of God. It's like, what, you gonna kill somebody for using a word? Seriously? I mean, and that's what it seems like, you know. And I'm not anti-religious either, all right? I'm probably the most rational theist / atheist on the planet, you know, or religious atheist. I'm a realist, put it that way, you know, religious, atheistic, realistic, or religious and atheist, realist, you know, or something like that, you know. I mean, it's because I see the facts in both, you know, and I'm just throwing it out there in case anybody's like, I know people are strongly opinionated, and I used to be a little opinionated myself when it comes to this stuff, you know, but a lot of things, I mean, I was able to open my mind a little bit, and the thing is, you know what's good about being wrong is you can always change it. You can always say, hey, you know what, I was wrong. I want to be right now. And until you can admit you're wrong, you're never going to be right. See what I'm saying? And that's one of the other problems. Not to mention cognitive dissonance, but I'm going to get there right now.
It's gone. Everything that makes us what we are traded away.
Money.
War.
In this situation, it's money.
Don't you see, Preston? It's gone. Everything that makes us what we are traded away.
There's no war. No murder.
What is it you think we do?
All right, and that's the capitalism. It's like, oh, well, this society's working. Look, we got to, you know, look what it's doing. Okay, think about how many people that capitalism has killed. I mean, certain situations, like, I'll give you an example. Say a company, like a blood, well, this has happened. Okay, blood banks were infected with HIV. Okay, the donor blood was infected. Okay, this was suppressed to protect the investments, and a lot of people got infected blood. Okay, and that right there should have been a crime in itself, and that is bullshit, and it's heartbreaking, man, that people's lives matter that little when it comes to money. And that's ridiculous. I mean, it makes me sick. I mean, it literally shames me to call myself a human when there's people like that on this freaking planet. I mean, it's embarrassing. I mean, I can't see how anyone could do something like that or think like that and not be embarrassed. I mean, that would embarrass the shit out of me. I feel like everyone was looking at me like, oh my God, I can't believe you. And that's the situation. I would expect them to if I did something like that. And obviously, this is a situation, you know, it blows somebody's brains out if they're not cooperating with you. Just what you think they should do, you know? And that's basically how the government is. Basically, the government is unregulated, and it should be regulated by the people, you know? When it comes to certain, like, travesties, you know, the people and the government should be symbiotic. It should be a symbiotic relationship. It shouldn't be the government over the people. It should be the people and the government over each other. And it can be that way. It doesn't have to be this chaotic crap that we live in now. It just doesn't. If we're the most intelligent species on the planet, we should actually start acting like it, you know?